First off, Matt, you've had a bit of time to reflect on Tuesday night. Was it maybe a lesson of what can happen in this league if you make a mistake or two?
Yeah, I think so. To score 2 goals away from home in quick succession, we know we needed to hold on to that lead for a little bit longer to give us a settling in period into the game. We got to credit the opposition. Second half was a humdinger of a half, back and forth. Two teams trying to win the game. Two teams both been aggressive with their changes in terms of top end of the pitch and personnel. And unfortunately, we conceded in the 93rd, 94th minute. Leaves a sickening feeling in your stomach. The players had nothing to show for all the effort, but a real lesson, like you touched upon there, that we can't afford to make the mistakes we did on Tuesday.
And I guess that trip home is also probably a bit more difficult as well when you've conceded a last-minute winner.
Yeah, well, we stagger it slightly differently after a game on a Tuesday night when the journey's so big. So we go straight back to the hotel and try and get them a good night's sleep, and then feed them and recover them the next morning and travel back on the Wednesday. Gives them a little bit of time to digest it. They needed time to be hurt and to almost grieve that last minute moment. But they were still taking the positives out of the game. And as quickly as we reflect on those mistakes, which hopefully we can eradicate this weekend and moving forward, we have to pick up on those positive aspects of the game. Some really good attacking football again. But for a crossbar and some good goalkeeping saves, we'd have scored more than 2 in the game. So reasons to be cheerful going into this weekend. Hopefully physically and mentally it's not took its toll on the group. Obviously we're a little bit light on a few bodies in certain positions as it is. So we'll assess the group tomorrow going into the weekend's game.
I should say Saturday, first of all, give home fans the opportunity to pay their respects to Her Late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II the right way, I guess.
Yes, we did it on Tuesday in the away fixture at Shrewsbury, and we'll certainly be doing it in the home fixture this weekend. It's good that people can come together and show their respect. That opportunity was probably taken away from us last weekend with a cancellation of all the footballing fixtures. So, football has got to unite. As a club, we've got to unite and come together to show our respect, as we always do. Our fans will be second to none in relation to that. And I'm sure we'll do everything the right way this weekend. And then as soon as that's done, we can concentrate on the game of football.
And Burton had a tough start to the season. I mean, you said earlier that their position doesn't reflect where they should be in the league. New manager, someone who's been at the club for a while, and they'll be looking to impress him and their fans on Saturday. Yeah,
league position's a little bit false based on the stats we've seen in the games we've seen. They've been awfully unlucky so far this season. They've also got established League One players, been in the league for a number of seasons now, if not above it. So they've got good players. They played fantastically well on Tuesday against the league leaders and were lucky not to get anything out of that game. So we hope their luck doesn't change this weekend. We've got to make sure that we're playing the way we want to play, despite whatever the opposition bring. A difficult one to prepare for because the manager's only had 1 or 2 training sessions and 1 game for us to study and to look at to pick out any patterns and trends. So a little bit disjointed in terms of our preparation going into the weekend, but that can focus our mindset towards what we need to do, and that's put our best version of ourselves out there.
And you'd say they're one of the smaller clubs in this league, but they're a team who've played, at championship level and have well established as a League One side. I mean, there's someone that we could probably take a lot from as a club as well.
Yeah, it's incredible when people describe other teams as small clubs, and they've got championship history, and that's recent history as well. And been at the level a lot longer than we have. So, there's a lot of teams we've got to look up to and aspire to, and to understand the way they've survived and sustained themselves at the League One level, if not above. And Burton is certainly one of those teams. And they're coming to us with a bit of freshness on a managerial change. So, a certain type of animal to expect this weekend. But I know what we look like when we're at our best, and we want to replicate that, certainly when we start the game come 3:00 this Saturday. And then you put the opposition and they put the environment into some sort of context. And we want to start picking up points. We've done it fantastically well at home so far this season. We've come close to picking up points away from home without quite the return we've wanted. But at home form, I think I said before, the first home league game has got to stay strong. We're looking forward to that this weekend.
They're a team that are very capable of scoring goals already. They've shown this season, a couple of high-scoring games. Maybe they haven't come out on the right end of them, but they've definitely got a threat up there.
Yeah, the expected goals is a high one for the league. A lot of chances created, a lot of balls in the box, a physicality in terms of set pieces we have to deal with. Some good players. Like I said, they've not played at the level for a long period for no reason, and they've had a difficult start. I don't expect them to finish in the position they are at the moment. So we feel that league table is a little bit false and hasn't quite settled down yet. We'll have to be at our best to get anything out of the game this weekend. We've seen how difficult the league is. Even when you play well, sometimes you don't necessarily pick up points. So it'll come down to those moments, those block moments, where the most important touches always count close to the opposition goal and close to our goal. Hopefully we come out on top in that battle.
You mentioned it already, but home form is going to be key this season, isn't it? And winning 3, you must be happy winning 3 of the 4, and that that game against Cheltenham kind of feels like a bit of an anomaly when you look at our home matches so far this season.
Yeah, but teams will set up differently. You've seen some of our stronger performances at home, maybe against teams who've played more aggressively and backed themselves to beat us with their style straight away. Cheltenham was totally different. Anyone who witnessed that game will testify that they played a certain style and a certain way, and it was frustrating to play against them. We didn't quite have the quality or expertise on the day to break them down and concede a bit of a sucker punch in terms of the goal against. But we hope that most League One teams will come to us with a plan to hurt our opposition goal or to hurt our own goal. We have to counteract that with our own plan against them, and get our home trends up and running. The MK Dons game, despite the 1-0 scoreline, was awfully one-sided. Certainly in that second half, it felt like one-way traffic. Now, not all home games are going to be like that, but that's what we're looking to emulate.
And talking injuries now, somewhat of a mini injury crisis at the moment, in the defence, and a few key personnel missing. I mean, how are we looking ahead of Saturday?
Yeah, not great. You touched upon it there. Without Cheick Diabate with a stress fracture in his foot and stem stubs with a reoccurrence of his knee injury. Alex Hartridge managed 20 plus minutes on Tuesday. So, we'll be thinking long and hard if he gets through training this week, if we can put him back in. So a bit of a makeshift back unit. Probably not helped by the lack of physicality in the middle of the park with Tim Diang's torn hamstring as well. So, and Harry Smith has only done 2 sessions now with us and was able to sit on the bench without playing a playing capacity on Tuesday night. So we're a little bit low on numbers. Nothing we can do about it. We can't complain about it. More opportunities for the group. We've got to be mindful of keeping the group fresh going into this weekend. We spoke about the end of Tuesday night, but it was quite a physical game as well. We'll assess the bodies tomorrow and we'll pick a fresh, energetic group who want to play the right way.
Someone we haven't spoken about much yet this season is Carl Taylor. I mean, how is his rehab coming along?
Look, it's slow on the back of he's had 3 operations on that knee, all different types of operations. The biggest one is obviously to repair the ruptured cruciate knee ligament. So it's slow progress. It's a long-term injury. He won't play a part this season. He's got his eyes on fixtures already next season. So we're supporting him through that. It's a real shame for him when we said that after the Oldham game. It feels a long time ago now, but I can guarantee it doesn't feel too long ago for Kyle, even more so as what he's been through since then. But he's moving around, he's walking around. He looks funny when he does a sort of a fast walk, slow jog type movement around the training ground. I think him and Gareth Law, the physio, are getting their steps up, their weekly steps up, and their calorie counting going. His upper body's looking fantastic because he's going to be doing a lot of time or spending a lot of time in the gym. And mentally, he seems in a good place. He'll need to go on holiday in the next couple of months. Even when he comes back from that towards the end of the season, he needs to go on holiday again. And he's got next season as a target inside himself already.
And how do you support him, off the pitch as well? I guess, is he still very much a part of, the dressing room and everything? Yeah,
of course he's lucky. We're a close group of players. We're a tight group and we're a small group, so everyone gets on with each other. He's with us on a daily basis. Unfortunately, the progression is slow in terms of that injury, in terms of what he can do and how quickly he can build back up. And he'll be concentrating on certain exercises he has to almost tick off as he goes through that checklist of what he's been able to do in terms of what the knee can withstand, and then move on to the next stage. He's got to build that muscle back up. It's almost wasted away on the back of the last 4 or 5 months of inactivity and those operations. So that's first protocol, to build some strength back in his quad muscle and his hamstring muscle and his calf muscle. It's a strange looking leg at the moment compared to his other leg, especially for quite an athletic profile in terms of his body. And all we can do is keep talking to him, keep him involved, keep him part of the processes. It's great when he does walk around or jog around the training ground because he's out there, he's in the outside air. Hopefully when those winter months come, when it's a bit cold and windy, he still has that fresh air in him. He'll spend different times and do different programs at different places, whether that's in the pool at another facility, in a gym at another facility, with ourselves, possibly at St. George's. I've mentioned about holidays to him. He's got to keep his mind active as well. So concentrating on hobbies outside of football He's quite a cool lad, well dressed, probably our best dressed player. And a good-looking lad as well. So maybe fashion, maybe a route down that line. He's got other hobbies, other interests, and he's quite intelligent as well. So hopefully he's keeping himself happy and keeping himself occupied. And we're trying to support him as best we possibly can.
You mentioned there Sam Stubbs as well, recurrence of his knee issues. I guess that must be really frustrating for him, especially after having that spell of 3 games in quick succession earlier in the season.
Yeah, real shame. And performed well in two out of those 3 games with clean sheets. Look back to what he was, in the middle of last season or the second half of last season, where he was our standout defender, made us such a difference. It was like a new signing in January when he came back into the group. We hope it's not a long-term reoccurrence of the injury. Hopefully it's a short-term one. Hopefully the knees just reacted. The ground's still quite firm at the moment, which we have to understand. When the rain comes and keeps on coming, then the grounds will soften, which will be better for his knee and better for the joint within that knee. But it's reacted poorly to a certain aspect in the last couple of weeks, and the swelling is there, and it's an obvious one in terms of fluid. Whether we wait for the fluid to leave his knee naturally, or whether we get it drained and add some steroids and some lubricant back into the joint, that's not for me to not comment on, but for me to decide. That's for the medical experts, and therefore far more qualified than myself. But we want him back on the pitch at the earliest opportunity. We'll have to gradually build him back up because he's already missed a couple of weeks, and it's probably going to be another couple of weeks before he's back within the group's remits of training. So a real shame for Sam, and similar to Kyle, he's been through the mill in the last year before he got back to playing, and hopefully this isn't a reoccurrence of that long-term absence, and we'll support him no matter what the outcome.
Just finally back on Saturday as well, and word on the fans. I mean, we've averaged well over 6,000 at St James Park this season, and they've just been great in getting behind the team and helping us to those 3 points. Yeah,
I think home and away, I'd like to think they've been entertained. I'd like to think they're enjoying League One life. Bar the Cheltenham game at home, which was a drab affair, and we weren't able to alter the course of that game. I think the majority of games, including cup competitions, have been quite exciting. Lots of goals. Some at the wrong end sometimes, but certainly some at the right end, and some fantastic attacking football. And we're doing that with young players and our academy products, and a team that this group of fans and our supporters can really relate to. Hopefully they appreciate the effort. We're never going to be short of effort. We'll be short in a lot of areas of football, but we're never going to be short in effort. They're always a motivated group, and I know they love playing at home. They love not having to travel a long distance before a game, so the comforts of home are there for everyone to witness, and we have to make it a fortress, which we feel we're doing so far this season, and certainly we did last season. And the fans play such a big part in that. Like I said, they'll be so respectful at the start of the game in terms of showing our respects to the Queen. But then once that whistle starts, I want it to be a ruthless and relentless atmosphere. That's how we want to play, and we'll need the fans to support us in relation to that.